Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Joe, and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you essentially pretty much the coolest setup that I've ever seen in GTA 5 as far as handling goes and as far as controllers go, as far as mods go. The mods that I'm going to be showing you today are Killatomate's realistic driving mod, the custom steering mod, the inverse power mod, and this one actually isn't really a mod, but the X360CE program, which essentially allows you to manipulate peripherals such as a racing wheel, hint hint, which is what I have manipulated here, what I have set up, and allows you to essentially fake the computer out and make it recognize your wheel, I can't speak, as an Xbox 360 controller or Xbox 360 accessory. Essentially, with all these mods combined, I'm able to achieve pretty much the most realistic setup as far as driving goes. If you find that the inverse power mod is a little bit too complex, which I kind of did at first, but I figured it out after a little while. If you download that mod and you think like, oh shit, you know, I don't know what any of this shit means, you know, then you can definitely, more than definitely replace it with the drift assist mod, which I will also leave a link to. But essentially what this combination of mods does is not only allow me to achieve the most realistic experience when driving, but it also allows me to experience a hell of a great drifting experience. I just said experience a hell of a lot. The inverse power mod is kind of like the drift assist mod, except it has a little bit more values that you can tweak, a little bit more settings you can play with, whereas the drift assist mod just kind of says, how much do you want me to assist your drift? You put in a number and it says, okay, I'm just going to boost you that amount. So it kind of boosts you when you're going around the corners, or when you're sliding, essentially, is I guess the technical term. But the inverse power mod actually does something different. As said by its creator, InfamousSabre, it pretty much does all the same things that the drift assist mod does, except since it gives you more customization options, you can customize, you know, how much your angle of your car, like if I turn sideways like that, affects your speed, or affects your boost as it pertains to drifting. So in other words, if I, you know, go sideways, do I get, you know, a little speed boost from going sideways in order to help my drift continue, and that's what that value does. It also has a slope value, which is pretty crazy. That's actually measured in meters to seconds, and it essentially says at this speed it kind of limits your turning to prevent you from accidentally, you know, just turning like a little bit on your wheel. Like if your wheel has like no dead zone and you just like turn just a little bit and you spin out, because that's pretty much what would happen if you were using drift assist. And really with the racing wheel, it was a giant challenge to not only get the racing wheel to work properly, but to find the settings in all of these mods and to find the most realistic driving configuration, pretty much, that suited me. But I finally found it, so thought I would just share it with you guys, because you might love it as much as I love it, because I fucking love it. Besides the inverse power mod, there's the custom steering mod as well, which allows me to edit how far I can actually steer. So as you can see here, I can enable or disable my steering multiplier, and you can see plainly my wheels just kind of like going in and out. But yeah, it just allows me to set how much I can steer, my turn radius essentially, and it allows me to set direct steering control, which is pretty much stability control essentially. And that's the other value that's within the configuration that you'll get when you download the mod. I'll have all my settings for these mods down in the description to give you a nice little starting point to work with. Yeah, I'm just making this video because I really wanted to set up that racing wheel on GTA 5, but I could not find a tutorial that explained it well enough to save my life. So I thought I would explain it in some layman's terms for you guys. And the worst part about it was the tutorials that I found when it was telling you about the settings for the X360CE, it was just giving this flat setting of, you know, 23% and then 20%, and that's what everybody said. And by everybody I mean like 2 people, because there's like 2 people who made a tutorial on that specific thing on YouTube. I just kind of had to go on my own pretty much and figure out the right settings for me, because both of them were using Logitech G27s, and I thought, well, what about the people who don't have a Logitech G27? What the hell are they gonna do? So that's kind of why I made this video, because I was one of those people without a Logitech G27 who was saying, what the fuck do I do? So here's what the fuck you do. With the X360CE program that both of them are telling you to download, the settings that you need to put in are going to be down in the description there, and they are considerably different from the settings that these other people are telling you to put on. Now, if you have a Logitech G27, that's all well and good. Go watch those videos, and you'll probably, when you put those settings in, you'll probably get a steering configuration that's wonderful, that has no dead zone, and it's awesome. But for me, with the Thrustmaster Ferrari Red Legend racing wheel, that didn't really help me, because every wheel has different mechanics. Is it a wheel that rotates 180 degrees or the 360 degrees, or however the fuck it is? It's like 1 turn around or 2 turns around, whatever. Essentially all of that is taken into account when you're trying to figure out what your controls should be and what your settings should be where your wheel is concerned. I will have a detailed explanation of that in the description, as well as where you can download all of this stuff. I'll pretty much be explaining a lot of this stuff in the description, so refer to that if you have any questions. I do think it's pretty straightforward. I'm a visual learner myself, so I would love if somebody just did a video on it. I'm also very lazy. And I'm also confident that I can explain it in writing in a way that people can understand. So just look down there at the descripciones, and you should find everything that you need in plain English. By the way, if you've been watching the driving mechanics here, these are the driving mechanics that you're going to get if you put my settings in. And if you like what you see, go ahead and stick with those settings. If you don't like what you see or like what you feel when you put in those settings, like I said, feel free to change them. They're not set in stone in any way like the G27 settings. My settings are not going to be the same as your settings probably, but my settings I think are a better starting point for most people than the G27 default settings. So go ahead and refer to that description, and you'll find everything you need there. Thank you guys for watching, and have a great day.